Hello, guys. Welcome to the Three Wide Podcast, Episode 3. How you guys doing? How was your guys' day?
I
It
just
was
got
pretty.
through rock climbing, so my fingers are so freaking sore. I have a couple of calluses that are kind of ripped. So
Oh,
yeah,
God. Yeah.
A field trip today to an engineering complex for my engineering class, and really cold.
nice.
That's fun.
Other than that, it wasn't bad.
That's fun. I fell through a ceiling and shot myself with a nail, so we're having quite the day here. So, a lot to talk about this week. I mean, nothing new. A lot of stuff to
Yeah,
talk about always. It's funny. I have my football podcast, like I was saying, and if that goes above like 50 minutes, we're like, dude, that was crazy. If it goes above 50 minutes, and this one, the first one was an hour and 15 minutes, like on the dot to the second, and I think the next one was like an hour and a half.
hmm
And I don't see this one being any shorter. A lot happened.
yeah,
Let's just start
Absolutely.
off. Let's just start off with the Vegas recap. I still haven't figured out if I
yeah,
want to do news or recap first, so we're gonna do a little bit of each and see how it feels. We're still trying to get a feel for this whole
yeah.
podcasting
Yeah,
thing here.
That's all good.
touch and go.
Yeah,
So, Xfinity race.
I thought it was a really solid race all day long. Really good. Didn't see a whole lot of stupidity that you're kind of used to seeing with the lower levels, but Xfinity delivered on Saturday, and kind of would like an explanation on that caution with
that's what I
20 to
was.
go.
That's
But
exactly what I was gonna say. I need an explanation on that caution for Jones.
yeah,
Especially because Trevor Bayne earlier in the race
Same thing.
and no
and no
caution. That was a
yellow.
great save by Bayne too.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So JRM dominated as usual.
I just
Josh
say
Berry
nothing new
wins.
there. Yeah.
Gregson in second. Dude, he's just unreal.
mm,
And then Allgaier third. Another big story. Haley Deegan finished 13th on the lead lap.
yes.
They had a really
Great,
solid day
great
all
run.
day.
So you can go back and listen. We've said many times if you put her in an Xfinity car, she'd do better than she did in a truck, and we were right.
Well, and
And
she said that she felt the reason why was because she actually got to mess with the throttle time
Hmm.
and the brakes. And she was like, in trucks you just put your foot down and then you just go one line. She goes, I was able to run the top, the bottom, the middle. I could play with the throttle and figure out where I could get the car to stick better in this part. She goes, in the trucks, it just sticks and it goes and you got what you got. She's like,
Yeah.
I was actually able to manipulate the car to do what I wanted it to do. And it's like, oh, she's gonna be good. She's
So
gonna be
her
good.
finishing on the lead lap was very impressive in my book because that was a
hmm
strung out race.
hmm
Most of the time, it was a lot of green flag laps, and like
I
nobody
think
was like everyone was real strung out. And the last three cars on the lead lap, this is proving my point that trucks is a shit show, and you should not even bother racing in it unless you want to be alive for it. It was Parker Retzlaff, Nick Sanchez, and Haley Deegan, three young drivers with not a whole ton of experience. Haley Deegan just started racing ovals a few years ago. Pretty sure Parker Retzlaff is an iRacer.
Yeah, I think I
For
read that. He's like
RFK.
18.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got his start on iRacing not too long ago. And then Nick Sanchez, an ARCA guy.
hmm
Last three cars on the lead lap in a strung out race where the cars seemed hard to control. A lot of guys were knocking the fence down all day.
Yeah,
Yeah, she kept her car clean. She kept her car clean.
which
That
is
was impressive because you watched. I saw someone tweet. It was like a thing of like Berry, Allgaier, and Gregson, and all their right sides were all chewed up. And it goes, man, it's a great day to be a JRM car with moderate right side damage,
yeah, pretty
Yeah, Just,
much.
basically.
Justin Allgaier coming to the line. I think it was with one or two to go. He knocked the freaking wall
Oh,
down
he hit
and
hard.
somehow made it back.
I ended up
I thought
reading.
Gregson was gonna catch Berry too. He was running them down.
hmm
Ended up reading that Allgaier lost brakes at the very end, and that's why he
Yeah, yeah.
ran into the back of Gregson on pit road.
Yeah. NBC tried to make that like something, and it was just nothing. Gregson
Uh,
went, "What the hell?"
I
Allgaier
know.
explained it, and Gregson walked away. But yeah, overall, I mean,
Same.
another thing I want to note: Xfinity has been killing it in the ratings recently.
solid,
They've been getting a
very
million
solid.
plus viewers every race. That's around like what F1 does in America.
That's
normally.
really impressive for the
So
Saturday show, especially.
Xfinity's been killing it in the ratings department.
Well, they have a lot of people. I feel like that they've done a really good job. This is where the Cup Series has failed. It's just the
Xfinity markets
Xfinity
so much
Series.
better.
Yeah,
The Xfinity series is marketed so much better than the Cup. You like what the names are made here commercial from back when
well,
Austin Dillon was running. I
real
think they
quick,
still do that actually.
I was
So,
actually thinking about this, and I think one of the things that's actually hurt NASCAR, I didn't think it would, but I think it is them being their own sponsor. Like they
Hmm.
have all those co-sponsors, and I feel like a main title sponsor really
Yeah,
helps push it because Xfinity, I mean, you can see that they're trying to push, that series and
I mean,
stuff,
yeah,
and NASCAR's just like,
they changed from red branding to purple.
yep. I think if we got a title sponsor
Yeah, I definitely
and
agree.
and not the four co-sponsors, we
Yeah,
might
what's it?
see
It's Geico,
something better.
Bush, and Coca-Cola, and
Coke.
someone else.
I
Yep.
think it's Bush, Geico, Coke, and somebody.
But
Is it Xfinity?
Yeah, it is Xfinity.
I think
Ironically
another
enough.
thing that brought eyes to the Vegas Xfinity race was Haley Deegan making her Xfinity Series debut,
Yes.
and she looked
Hmm.
Yep.
miles. I said it would be at best a little bit of an upgrade over Joe Graf. No, it was I mean, granted, I know it's an
Hmm.
SHR prepared car, but it was a huge upgrade over what that car normally does, and I fully expect her to be in a SHR Xfinity car next year.
Can we
Whether
also
it was
give her?
prepared,
Because
you
they
go
have
ahead, man.
said
Yeah,
that they're kind
yeah.
of open to going back to two cars.
Ryan, you may have actually started to say it. I'll let you say it.
I appreciate that, man. Whether it was an SHR prepared car or not, she kept it off the wall, and she didn't
Yeah.
spin
Yep.
out, which is a lot of an improvement from Joe Graf.
Yeah, Joe Graf is he hits just about everything. That dude is a dart without I mean, not even a dart. He's not fast.
To kind of go off of that as well, how impressed are we the fact that she only had what 15 minutes of practice? She's never run an Xfinity car before. 15 minutes of practice, and she
Mhm.
hops in and races it like that.
Oh
That's
yeah.
talent.
I mean,
That's
I
yeah.
straight up
definitely,
talent right
We're
there.
gonna come off. We're gonna get labeled as Haley Deegan Sims, but girl's
Whatever.
talented.
just go watch the
Girl is
basketball or
fucking
something.
talented.
Yep.
Yeah, no, and I
And
definitely think something I can piggyback off of what Sean said is gotta they do I do wish they would give him a little more practice time.
Yes.
I miss the multiple practice
yeah,
sessions,
yeah,
man.
happy hour and everything.
So
Oh yeah.
I used
so
to
does
come home
Kyle
from.
Busch.
I used to come home from. Yeah, Kyle Busch needs that. I used to come home from school and practice would be on, and I'd lose my goddamn mind. I'd
Yep.
be like, "Yes, NASCAR on a Thursday" or some shit like that.
He was
Speed
great at
Channel. Those
watching
were the
them. He used
days.
Oh
to
my God, Speed Channel.
love speed.
God,
That's where
that's.
Rick Allen got his start, man.
Oh my God, dude. I
Oh,
remember. I remember coming. I was walking through the door. It was qualifying at Texas, like '09, and I'm like, "Oh man, the 00 car's up." Let me see what. And then that was Michael McDowell's
Oh,
wreck. Remember seeing
oh
that?
God.
Like as I'm walking in
he's,
from school, I'm like, "Oh
Oh
man, someone just
man.
died on TV." No, he got out,
I
walked
was
away.
Everybody thought everybody thought
Yeah,
that he was at least seriously injured, and when people saw that, they were like, "What is this car made out of?
yeah.
What is this thing?"
The car tomorrow, as ugly as it was safe.
Oh yeah,
But yeah.
mm,
So Cup race, I think another, eh, especially after the few weeks of just absolute shit shows in Cup.
holy cow.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the racing was amazing, like right up till the playoffs started, in
Mhm.
almost every race, and every race in the playoffs has been a shit show.
And before the playoffs, dude, Watkins Glen had some solid moments, and then the finish was what it was. And the Daytona
Yeah,
Oh
race
god.
Daytona's when it
was
all started, when the whole field went into turn one. I don't know. I'm still like, yes, you should have thrown the caution when you thought it might have started raining, but at the same time, people were like, when
one
it
of those
started
weird
raining, like,
phantom.
why didn't you throw the caution? And I'm like, because it started raining like 3 feet before they wrecked.
I say it was one of those weird, just Florida pop up
Yeah,
deals.
Yeah,
Florida's fucked
yeah.
up. I've been to Florida enough times to know it can start raining at literally any second, no
Oh
matter
yeah.
how the weather
Oh, yeah.
is. But yeah. So good race. Joey Logano was your winner. Chastain put Bush in the wall, coming off a 3, I believe, or 4 on the last lap.
Yeah,
Chastain and Logano was a fun battle to watch.
and
It
then
was
it's
it was
funny to
obvious
me.
Logano was faster, but Chastain made it tough to pass. That's where I like Chastain's aggressiveness.
It's funny to me because those are two of like most aggressive guys in the sport that tend to be involved in a lot of incidents. You saw them race each other. I mean, yeah, Chastain threw some blocks, but you saw them race each other fairly clean.
Yeah.
They never made contact with each other, and I thought that was kind of impressive to see Logano and Chastain, the two guys you would expect to really use up the guy in front of them, ran each other pretty clean.
Yeah, Chastain
I was
waited till he got past to use somebody up.
I
Yeah,
was disappointed. I was disappointed that Chastain did not take Joey's line away sooner. He
Yeah.
yeah.
should have been running that wall, and it's like he can't get past you if you run that wall, dude.
Dude, I was
Like he'll try to.
so my bad. I was so worried Briscoe was gonna win. Like I like Chase Briscoe. Like he seems like a nice guy. I think he'll be good one day.
Not
But
this year.
not he's
Not
like
this
you're
year.
Yeah,
like
this is
18th in
No.
points without the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
You should not be racing for a championship.
No.
no,
No.
yeah, it's impressive he's gotten where he is. He should
Then
not be a champion.
Justin Haley looked again. I think I said it last week. I mean, he just continues to impress.
I was amazed that he was the only one that took the two-tire call
And he
with
like
that
he
late
stayed up
caution.
there for a bit. I mean, once he got past, he felt like a rock, but he stayed up
It
there
was
for a
just,
bit. Like he held
Mm-hmm.
off Briscoe for a while.
and I thought, how
Mm-hmm.
long was it that last green flag one? Wasn't it like 20 laps or so?
Something like that, yeah.
So I was really shocked that Haley's team was the only one that gambled on those two tires. You'd think that maybe, someone like a Briscoe or a Hamlin or a Blaney would have gambled and taken two. I mean, Blaney was in a little bit bigger situation, but some of those other guys would have taken two, maybe gambled on it because it almost worked out for Haley. And I think had some other cars taken two tires, it would have worked out a
A
little better for
faster
him.
car taking two tires. Definitely
Yeah,
faster.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I was genuinely shocked that he was the only one. That 31 team was the only team that took two tires on that last stop.
hmm So Chase Elliott, that might have been the worst race I've ever seen out of
Holy cow,
that thing.
man!
I mean, they
What in
made it
the
up
world
to
did
like.
they bring to the track?
You know what's funny? You know what Chase's average finish is in the first race of a round in the playoffs this year? It's like
God, not good.
29.3, I think.
I think he wrecked at Darlington,
And then
wrecked at
wrecked at
Texas too. Yeah.
from the lead. And then he was literally, I mean, the seven. He would. It was funny because this happened like every caution. Is he would beat the seven off pit road, and then the seven would get back by him on the restart. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
dude,
God.
he's getting passed by Spire on pure speed. I mean, they were just slow.
I think it might have been. I don't remember exactly who made the comment. Somebody commented they were like, "Was Chase Elliott racing today?"
He
And I
literally
just
like,
was like, "Yeah."
other than like he qualified bad, and then he stormed up to the front real quick, made it
That
to like
that
11th.
doesn't
And then
surprise me
he
because he's
lost.
qualified.
He lost like 11 spots on pit road, and I
Oh,
don't think he got above 16th for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm. He finished
right.
20th, right?
21st, he got passed by Cole Custer on the
21st.
last lap.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, it was a bad
Insult
race.
to
It was a
injury.
really bad race.
And the qualifying didn't worry me because he seems like
He's
this
qualified
season he's
bad
either
every damn race.
just say he either wins the pole or he starts 25th.
Yeah, I
But
mean
he's up there battling for it, so
he's got to have a good run at Homestead or qualify well in Martinsville because nobody's going to pass anyone in Martinsville.
Martinsville's going to be whoever gets off the pits first.
Yeah. So obviously the big story is Bubba versus Larson.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So I don't know, I'll give my take on it. So what happened was, for the nobody listening that didn't see it already, Larson kind of ran Bubba high off of four. Bubba got in the wall. Bubba then turned Larson, got out of the car, and tried to fight him. I think
Mhm.
Bubba had every right to be pissed off at Larson, and even Larson admitted
Mhm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Larson ran him into the wall. I mean, there's no denying that happened. I don't have an issue with trying to fight him after you get out of the car.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. I just wish it would have happened on pit road after the race. Don't right rear someone down the straightaway. That's bad. Bubba got suspended for one race, and I think that is the minimum. I think it's a lot considering the precedent NASCAR set with nobody else got suspended
Yeah.
this year, because there's been a lot of intentional wrecks this year.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly feel like the boys have at it has kind of weared itself out in the sport, and NASCAR needs to get back to kind of policing because these younger drivers can't police themselves, especially the
No,
ones in the lower series. They're just
no.
wrecking people just to wreck people, and it's like because they don't know how to drive a race car without
It's
hitting
like, oh
somebody.
god, I'm in 8th and I want to run 7th on lap 30. Let me
Uh
go
huh.
dump the guy ahead of me.
Well,
Yep.
see Ty Gibbs. I mean, I hate to single a guy out. I don't hate singling Ty Gibbs out. That was a lie. But, um, but I'm watching him at Richmond just completely use John Nemechek as a brake pedal.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, and there was another goodie. Carson Hocevar. I mean,
Oh, putting
I don't
Brian
think
Priest on the wall at Charlotte.
Ryan Priest in the wall. I mean, what else did he do? There was the wreck at Richmond.
I like Hostfar, but he makes a lot of stupid ass moves on the track. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie.
he's just developed that almost entitled mentality that a lot of people have now. Unfortunately, once you have that mentality, and in Hocevar's case, and even in Bubba's case, I know Bubba's got that entitled mentality sometimes, is they have some success. You don't have the success yet to back up the entitlement mentality. And unfortunately, they make themselves look very, very bad. I mean, Carson Hocevar at Talladega was a joke. And Bubba Wallace last Sunday was a complete clown show. And when you have that entitled mentality without, having the numerous wins and championship contending seasons that some of these other guys have, you make yourself look like a giant asshole.
Well, I think there's that part of it too, but I also believe because someone tried to comment. I was Max. He got me commenting on NASCAR posts again just because of this. I'm like, oh God, why'd I do this? But someone commented when I was like, you can't right rear somebody on the front stretch going 180, and someone said, well, Dale used to do it. I was like, you can't find a race anywhere where Dale Earnhardt rights he just hooks somebody to the right and turns them at 180 because Dale knew back then he's like, well, I could end up killing somebody.
You
That
know,
wasn't his kind of race. Like short tracks, he'd bump you out of the way, but he wouldn't just hook you in the right rear.
I just
The
have something to
only
say about
example
that.
the only example I could find similar to that would be Darrell Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt at Richmond.
Well, yeah, but
And
that's
I
a
mean,
short track.
there's a lot of examples of people right rearing someone. I mean, Jimmy Spencer turning Kurt Busch,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Brad getting turned by Carl Edwards.
Oh
I mean,
my
there's a
God.
ton, but my favorite one to bring up to people who hate Bubba Wallace, um, like the total fucking just Bubba Smollett group is
yeah, oh yeah.
I'm like, what about when Dale Jr. turned Brian
Oh.
Vickers in
Oh,
in front of the field at Daytona
Oh
while they were both
man.
multiple laps down?
Hey, I
and
was talking about
then
Dale Senior, not Dale Junior. Just to clarify.
That was
Oh man.
someone said that this was the worst case of retaliation he's ever seen in NASCAR, and I'm like, not even.
well,
It's not even the worst this season.
Yeah, good. Well, Dale wrecked the entire field, including Kyle Busch, who was probably had the best car in that Daytona
I
500.
know, and he was running. I don't know why two lap down cars were running at the front of the field, but they were.
I
And
think it was
Vickers,
just because back then, even if your car was laps down, you could tandem with somebody, get shoved right back up to
yeah,
the front.
probably, but
It actually was because back then, still, we didn't have double file restarts, so
that
the
was
lap down
before double
cars.
file restarts.
That was before double file restarts. Double
Yeah,
God
file restarts
damn.
09
came at
Pocono was the first one.
'09 Pocono, so '09 Daytona.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
they
well,
that's
that
why they were up
explains it.
there,
So they're
and
racing
that's
for
why
the lucky
NASCAR was
dog,
like,
running like
yeah,
34th and 35th, and Vickers goes down to block a run Junior at, and Junior goes, "Fuck
stops
that,"
them.
and dumps him in front of the entire field.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
you hear crickets when you bring that up in response to this situation.
Just like when you bring, people are saying Bubba's first win is illegitimate, and you say, how about Junior's last win?
Oh yeah. I love Bubba Wallace, so that's the thing is
Yeah, I'm a Bubba fan,
but
but what he did was
I
but
like Bubba, yeah.
inexcusable.
he had to be put in his place because it's dude, I'm a Gordon fan, and I thought what Gordon did to Clint Boyer in 2012, Gordon should have been suspended for what he did to Clint Boyer.
Gordon will be
I mean,
banned
that
Absolutely.
from the
was
playoffs as a
I mean, that was
13th driver. That was bad. He collected
Especially when
awful.
Logano
it really
and someone
you
else.
know, it really went down, and you look at the Boyer thing. I do not like Clint Boyer. He had a real chance to win that championship
Good.
in
Yep.
2012.
He definitely
Yep.
could have. That could have. Think about just the domino effect of that wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Like what could have been if Boyer won that championship.
He ended up finishing second at Homestead, I believe.
Yeah, he sure did.
Didn't Gordon
Because
win at
Johnson had a
Homestead?
mechanical pillar. He did.
Yeah.
Keselowski has never been good at Homestead, so I think he finished like 18th or 19th and limped
Yeah.
home to the title. But
Yeah, so I think what Bubba did, like I said, out of the car, do not have an issue with it.
No, not at
no,
all.
I don't.
Being pissed
He's
off,
got
he
so
had
many
every
points.
right to be, but NASCAR said it, and I agree with them. The issue was with what he did on track, and I think a one-race suspension is fair. So John
Yeah,
Hunter
I mean-
Nemechek is going to drive the 45. So now both 2311 cars have a sub-driver. John Hunter will be the fourth driver to drive the 45 car this year.
Jeez.
It's been a wild year for 2311. Got 2 wins, but it's been fucking crazy for them.
Both at Kansas too. Weird part.
Yeah, same car, different drivers at the same track.
Yeah.
It just
Um,
another thing I hate about this for Bubba is he's been really good lately,
Yeah.
and
That's the
like
thing
I've
that
been
I
like,
said
man,
is-
I'm really impressed with how Bubba's running lately, and he's
Well, the
starting
thing
to
that's
gain a lot of
disappointing.
respect, and then he
Yeah.
does this.
Well, the thing that's disappointing is I don't think Bubba understands that his car was not done.
No,
He hit the wall. It's like, dude, you're just keep going. You're fine.
especially with the
And
composite bodies.
yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
you
going to be
saw
just fine.
the top 3 cars in the Xfinity race knocked the fence down at least twice in the last 3 laps alone.
The only thing I can think is that it would have broke a toe link because
Maybe,
the parts are
And
so
he
fragile.
said it
he
did,
would
but
have
when you
shot his
look at
car
the
the other way then.
he said that. I mean, broken toe link could be anything. When Larson broke Chase's toe link, it just spun around on him.
True.
That is
So
true.
it could, yeah. What's it called? Same with Charlotte. He hit the wall and then it just spun to the inside. Chase has broken like 7 toe links this year, so I know all about him.
Right.
But
Oh, jeez.
what was I about to say? What the fuck was I about to say?
But
Oh, if you look
Bubba's
at the
on track.
if you look at the SMT data, that got I think Parker Kligerman posted it.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he gasses up and turns dead left.
And that's the thing is hooking somebody has no place in racing. You want to bump somebody, you want to spin somebody, you want to make somebody know that you're mad. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's obviously not cool, but you know it happens. You get penalized for it. It happens. Hooking somebody head onto the wall should not take place ever on a racetrack.
And he collected Bell, who is basically
Yeah, I mean,
Bell is
in a
basically
way,
now in a
Larson's
must.
lucky
Bell is
'cause
now in a
hitting-
must-win too. Again,
again. But you know, in a way, Larson's lucky he clipped Bell. It
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, he was
that could have
about
been
to-
so much
he was
worse.
about to hit the wall straight with the rear end of that car.
And
It's funny. I saw
it's-
Logano was talking about it, and he said Bubba could have ended Larson's career. Could have even ended. I mean, the guy Bubba.
Logano needs to. Logano needs to. I don't know.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
God, I can't
It's
stand him.
Logano talking about the whole situation. He's like, "There's no place for that in racing." And the first
Shut
reply
the hell
was
up,
a
dude.
video from the All-Star race a couple years ago,
return Larson.
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Larson runs him into the wall and he hooks Larson down the straightaway. That was
No,
the
and I
first
like
reply.
I like what Logano says off the track now. 2018 and before Joey Logano was a complete and utter douchebag.
Race for the championship made me
I-
start to like Logano.
I personally like his off the track. Okay, here's my problem with Logano. This is what Dale Earnhardt was really good at. He could be like, "Oh, that's just racing," but his personality was still like this. I'm sorry, I bumped you and screwed up your day. Like I am. It's just racing, but I am sorry that I did that. He'd take you hunting. Well, Logano is screw you. That's just racing, and I can do. It's just like that's
Yeah,
like the stuff that Logano does is not just racing. Like he'll just runs like what he did to Byron.
at
He's like, that's
Darlington.
what happened. Hey, you're not going to
Yeah.
pinch me at all. It's like, dude, you pinched yourself. Don't even. You didn't even run the right line and give him any room. So it's like he
The
didn't even
other
hurt the
thing,
car.
a lot of people seem to forget he broke Hamlin's back in
He did.
2013.
Yeah.
He
People
took
forget about that too
Well,
when talking about the next
well,
gen safety. How many injuries
I,
there were with Gen
well.
6?
But here's the real quick to
That
go
was
back to
different.
that.
Denny got loose underneath him and went up into him.
Well, no, Denny Hamlin tried to wreck Logano and wrecked himself.
Yeah. Yeah, because they both went up
And
into
he,
the wall.
yep, and he tries to
yeah,
Italian
man.
Joey and he wrecks himself. It's like, oh god.
But people forget about that. I don't want to get off on a tangent
Oh
here
yeah,
because every time I do,
yeah.
when
Anyway,
talking about safety, there was a lot of injuries with Gen 6. And
Oh yeah.
like I said on, I think it was episode 1, if you're gonna sit here and truly believe that Dale Jr. was the only fucking driver to suffer a concussion
Mhm,
in the last like
mhm.
30 years, you're out of your damn mind.
Jeez.
Guys just raced with him up until this year.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Casey Kane, I was telling Max this during the week. I was like,
Oh
Casey
yeah,
Kane's the one that I really wonder how many concussions he really had.
Well, the same goes for Jimmy Johnson too, because I remember he was
Yeah.
completely knocked out at '05 at Indianapolis. Blew
Oh
a
yeah.
tire, hit the
How
wall,
about that?
not completely knocked out when he came down pit road, and they had to pull him out of the car. I think he also got knocked out at Chicagoland a couple years later. Jimmy's been knocked out several times in a race car.
yeah. So
So,
even year, which means Logano makes it to the final
As I
four,
say, Logano had to keep the streak alive.
locks himself in. I have a question for you guys. Do you
Absolutely.
think Logano is the most clutch driver in NASCAR?
No.
Who do you think is?
I know it's dating itself. I gotta go with Kevin Harvick being the most clutch driver in the sport
I could.
because
I would
I
agree
look,
with you like 3 or 4 years ago.
that's why maybe dating myself a little bit, or maybe that statement's a little dated. But I look at races like Phoenix 2014, Homestead 2014, Dover 2015, Texas 2017, Texas 2019. Obviously, he completely and utterly choked 2020, and then 2022. He gets put in a must-win situation to make the playoffs and goes out and rips 2 wins
Yeah,
off,
he
snaps the
was
win streak.
definitely around the time he joined SHR up until a few years ago. I mean, if you put him in a must-win situation, he was like a lock for a win. But I think
That was when that team was
lately,
at its best.
yeah, I think lately, I don't know. I feel like every time I feel like Logano needs to win, he does lately. He's kind of in that same thing as Harvick was a
well,
few years ago.
here's where I disagree on the whole thing. There, Logano gets lucky way too much. How many cautions did they have for him? Like I remember he got put 3 wide and he was back to like 16th,
He lost
and
like
they
eight
just all
spots.
kept wrecking.
Yeah, he lost like
Yeah,
eight spots on pit road too.
they just
I'm
kept
almost
wrecking, and the drivers kept just screwing themselves over, and he benefits for it. Like he just finds himself clutch. I probably have to give it to Harvick because Harvick's been in so many situations where he was on the outside looking in, except for 2020, where he just came in clutch. I mean, I think he makes it. If he doesn't have the problem he had at Bristol, I'm pretty sure he makes it into the next round because that car
on the
was
other.
freaking fast.
The other thing is, I don't know if Logano's ever been in a must-win scenario. I'm looking
When
at
he
it.
won it, when he won
2018,
in Martinsville.
was he below the cut line?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, he
Was
was.
all
he
right.
was.
Okay.
Yep.
And then he went back
Okay.
and then won Homestead and won the
Homestead.
So
championship.
obviously Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami was a must-win, but
So yeah, he's putting in must wins and like kind of almost similar to Chase Elliott's 2020. Got put in must win situations like back to back and won both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Elliott was pretty clutch when he
Elliott
needed to
is
be.
not fucking
2020.
clutch. Other than 2020, he is not clutch.
Say that year he was.
Trust me,
Well, the number 9 pit
I'm
crew is.
taking it from someone who thinks he's a top 3 driver in the sport. He's not that clutch. In this playoffs, he's
Yeah.
kind of proven that.
His pit crew is something. My dad and I always
Yo,
like to
his
joke
pit
about his
crew
crew
is-
chief Gustafson, man.
All right, so here's the thing: is Gustafson can set a car up like nobody's business, but goddamn,
Absolutely.
His pitch strategy is dog
his
shit.
pit strategy
Yeah, it's
is
foreign
awful.
fuel every time.
And Chase's pit crew is insanely fast, but holy shit, do they make a lot of mistakes. Then
So, like, I'm looking.
the whole 9 team all around. I'm including Chase because sometimes he'll be like running away with the lead and just fucking fence the car. So he
Mhm.
that whole team is, I'd say, the fastest team in NASCAR consistently. Even
I would
back
say
to
so.
last year, because they had just as much speed as the 5 most weeks.
Yeah,
They shoot themselves in the foot like it's fucking nobody's business.
funny
Mhm.
now that I'm watching races at school and I'm not watching them at home with my dad. He'll text me during the race, but you're not going to believe what Elliott just took on that last pit stop.
Yeah, foreign fuel.
And
But I mean,
he's like,
like,
dude, it's an AFG special, man.
go back
Okay.
and watch 2021 and look at one. How many races Chase should have won that Larson wound up winning?
Well, I
Uh,
could go. I'll do you one better. If you go back to 2015 and Jeff's last year, they were at Pocono and Jeff's car was trash, and he's like, fuck it, let's just do 2 tires. And Gustafson is like, no, we're gonna do 4. And
Oh, that
Jeff's
when
like,
they argued on
is
the
that gonna
radio?
matter? He's
I
like, what is that
remember
gonna matter?
that.
He goes, this car's trash.
I
So put 2
remember.
tires on. I'm gonna be back here anyway.
I remember that radio. Jeff's like, the fuck you think we're gonna win from running 20th?
the best part was when
It was
he actually
so funny.
finished third, and just they were like, all right,
Yeah.
P3. He goes, what?
He did. Yep.
That was
2 tires.
That was so funny.
That was. I'm not the world's biggest fuel mileage finish guy. That was an absolutely
mileages are
incredible and iconic
Few
finish.
mileages are fun though. But yeah, Allen. I don't know. I see a lot of Chase fans calling for Allen to get fucking fired. No, he can
Well,
still.
no, not fired. Switch the crews around at some point, man.
I mean, put Allen in like a pit strategy class or some shit. Like have the other crew just be like, all right, you don't need to take foreign fuel every stop. Just like like at the Roval, they were like, let's run for stage points. I'm like, why? Sitting
to
at
your
home, and I know
comment.
that doesn't make sense. But yeah,
Back
no.
to your comment there, Max, about how fuel mileage finishes are great. Fuel mileage finishes are great until you're 11-year-old me at Watkins Glen watching your favorite driver, Kevin Harvick, butter through turn 10
Yeah.
and watch your least favorite driver, Logano, luck into it.
All right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I haven't been in that position. Never had a driver lose or win a fuel mileage race. 90% of the
was
time, if there's a fuel mileage race, my driver's out of the race already. So,
that was not.
so they're always fun for me because I usually am like, I don't give a fuck who wins. But all right. So that's
That's
it.
Vegas.
That's it for Vegas. Some happenings. Oh, and Kyle Busch lost a wheel on pit road. And it's like
he
NBC
sure-
knew it was going to happen. They were following his car for no reason out of the pits. They just were following him, and then the fucking tires went. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. They knew it was going to happen. It was hilarious.
Well, they're like, there's smoke coming off the 18, and Junior's like, that tire's not on, guys. It's like it's hanging on by the fender.
Even before that, though, like the second he left his stall, the camera just like locked onto him. I'm like, why are they following Bush? And I'm like, why is Bush driving towards the inside wall? And then fucking.
I could be wrong, but when I was watching it, and he was flying through the field, and if you look on his grill, there's either debris or there's tape on that thing, and I'm like, is there tape on his grill? Like you could go back and watch it. There's something on his
could be
grill.
like,
I'm like,
what race was it earlier in the year where a bunch of drivers?
Richmond.
Well, no, there was that one, but there was another race. The tape was coming off the tires and getting on guys' grill.
oh, it was California, wasn't it?
I think
They were
it
getting all
was.
sorts of debris
Yeah,
at
there was
California.
tape coming off the tires. People were like, dude, there's grill tape on that car. I'm like, no, it came off a tire. It's not even a good spot to put tape.
Dude, this was like the perfect spot, and that thing was freaking flying.
Who had
I was
it?
like,
Landon
well-
Castle ran over. What did he run over? He ran over something and knocked a hole in the grill of that car.
It was debris off of somebody hitting the wall,
debris.
wasn't it?
I don't remember exactly what it was. But yeah. So some happenings.
Well, I was gonna say, let's jump into Ryan. This is probably not something you want to talk about. Harvick threatening retirement after 2023. What are your thoughts on that? Since you're such a big Harvick fan, what are your thoughts on
I
that?
mean, I think he's had a very good career. I don't think he's really having fun anymore.
Mm.
I frankly think a lot of these, guys from his era, he's not racing with them anymore. They're not there anymore. He got those 2 wins at Michigan and Richmond. Probably could have won Bristol, but I don't think he's really having the time of his life. And what else does he have to prove?
Yeah.
Obviously
He'll be
he maybe
turning
wants.
he'll be turning 48 at the end of next season.
That's
His
Not too
kids.
crazy.
many
I didn't
guys
even know that.
not too many guys race till that age
Uh-uh.
anymore.
Oh, I
Uh-uh.
mean, he's
Be
the
in his-
oldest active guy full time out there.
He'll be in his 23rd season.
Yeah,
Mark
and
Martin's the only guy who's
Harry
over
Gant,
50. Who's over 50. Well, Harry Gant, Mark Martin both.
yeah. But like
Only
guys
guys
don't
who are.
guys who do race that old usually aren't very competitive outside of those two. Those guys
Yes.
were anomalies.
but I think with Harvick's kid doing a lot more professional go karting stuff, like he was at like the
He was at Le Mans.
international something. Yeah, he's racing at Le Mans in the go karts. So, I think he's probably ready to kind of start taking those next steps with Keelan. And, KHI management does a lot of these younger guys who are starting to get towards the Cup Series, like Ryan Preece, and
I think Ricky
I think they
Stenhouse.
do. I think they do Stenhouse. I think they do
I think
Zane
Burton.
Smith. I
I
could be
think-
incorrect on that.
I want to say Burton.
Um,
I'm not sure why though.
but yeah, so it's obviously I don't want to see it happen, but I think it's definitely. I'd rather see him retire where he is right now than see him putt around for a couple years.
Yeah, that's
Well, I'll tell you what. Harvick has been so vocal about so many things in the sport, and him and Denny Hamlin both. They've all been ignored. And I don't know if you guys caught the. Do you guys listen to Corey LaJoy's podcast that they
some.
put
I'm not
out?
A little bit
all
here and
the
there.
time.
Yeah.
They had Mike Joy on there talking about how Earnhardt Sr. was the voice in the garage. And after a race, if he had a problem with something that NASCAR did, he called them first thing, knowing that they were getting there at 6 a.m. And he called them and would chew them out. And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, yes sir, okay, yeah, we'll fix it. We don't have anybody anymore that NASCAR respects." And I think Harvick is just. I think Harvick is one you heard at Martinsville in 2020. He's man rather have the 10 of this stupid championship. So yeah, legitimate. Like it's not really, or like Denny Hamlin even said, "How do you crown a real champion anymore? It's the wild, wild west." So I think they're just SRX series. That's going to be the every NASCAR driver from the Cup Series retired is going to go to SRX.
They're gonna go to SRX,
They
and
already got
SRX is
movement
gonna
and
make up.
zip
They're gonna make up the rules as they go because they don't care about the championship over there. They openly admit they don't give a fuck about the championship.
Oh
It's
man,
about
they're out
winning.
there to have some fun. Yeah.
I do think I think just age is the biggest factor in that. Why would you want to
Yeah,
sign a new contract at 48 years old?
But especially
Yeah.
when he
I mean,
really
if his
doesn't.
contract ran another 2-3 years, I could see him finishing out his deal. I think it's just I think he was just this was my last contract because he was supposed to retire before he signed this current one, but
Yeah, I
SHR
think
talked him into
2020 's
signing.
yeah.
Yeah, SHR talked him into signing another contract. So he was supposed to retire a few years ago. I just think he's almost 50 years old. He's been doing this. It'll be his 23rd season, 22nd full-time season. One season he missed one race.
Yeah, well, Martinsville, he kind of lost his mind.
Oh no, I didn't even think about that. I was talking about the 01 500 he didn't race in.
Oh yeah, no, he missed one in 02 because he dumped
Yeah,
Coy Gibbs
that's
in the
right.
truck race.
Yeah. But I think just that's the biggest factor in it. I definitely do think there is something to. He's been very vocal, but I also think he's just stopped giving a fuck, and that's probably why.
yeah.
Not against
I don't blame
someone,
him.
I think I think age is probably the biggest factor. He is
Yeah.
far and away the oldest driver in Cup right now.
I think you look at someone like that. What do they have left to prove?
Absolutely
Obviously,
nothing.
probably wanted a second or third title, but established himself as an elite driver. He's won the Brickyard 400.
He's won all the
several
crown
years.
jewels, right?
He's won all the crown jewels. He's won both of his home tracks, Sonoma and
Yeah,
Montana.
60
He's won it.
wins, a
I
championship.
think he's won a couple Busch championships. I think he's won.
Yeah.
Two. He won 01 and 06, running full time and Cup both years.
Yeah,
47
those.
wins in that series, 14 truck wins, 60 Cup wins. I mean, the guy's had an amazing career. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
He has nothing left to prove.
it's definitely time, probably for him to hang it up. I mean, now that Kurt's hanging it up, especially, Harvick becomes the longest tenured Cup guy, and I think he's probably looking at that, going, "I don't have anything else to prove. I don't, he's got his kids are young still. I want to see my kids grow up, and I don't think he really wants to put up with, any of these safety concerns that he's brought up, or and whether they're resolving them or not. I think he's probably just at the point where I don't really feel like risking it anymore."
Yeah. So,
I think the crazy thing is just what it's going to look like after 2023. You're going to have literally, basically, let's see. Hamlin has what? Does Hamlin have 50 wins yet?
yeah, I believe he
I
does.
think he's too short. He's at 48.
Is he?
48. So you'll have him, and I think Logano has. I think he just got his 30th win on Sunday.
I believe 31st.
That's
Mhm.
just going to be crazy to only have
We
somebody
have
in the
Kyle Busch,
sport
too.
with only. Oh, well, yeah, that's true. What is he at 64? 63,
He's
64,
at
something like that.
61.
Oh, 61? Okay. Well, either way,
He's at 60.
man, the youth, man, they're going to take over the freaking sport.
They started to this year, definitely.
I mean,
I mean, technically
Elliott's
they
got-
have, because Elliott and Larson are the last two champions. I mean, can you even call Larson the youth anymore? He's only 2 years younger than Logano.
Nah, he'll be in the sport for 10 years in 2 years, so I
Yeah.
don't think you
And he's
can.
he's only
I
2
mean-
years younger than Joey Logano,
Yeah.
which is disgusting.
Elliott's got, what, 18 wins now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 18,
Yep.
18 in the championship. He's pretty much done half of what Bill did already.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
You know
he
what's
needs to get a
funny?
Daytona 500.
You know what's funny is at Elliott's age, you know what Jimmy Johnson had done? He was almost done with his rookie season.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And Elliott has 18 wins in a championship and is looking like he is the favorite to win his
Crazy.
second, possibly. That's why I always say people don't realize, like, he's young, Elliott. He's 26.
Yeah, he's got to be around a long time.
Yeah, he's gonna win a lot of
And
races. To the
even these
disdain
guys,
of
like-
anyone who doesn't like him.
Even
'Cause you're not neutral on Elliott. You love him or you cannot stand
Create
him. For
Well, that's how
for
that's
no
how it
reason.
was for Gordon, and that's how it was for Gordon too.
Yeah.
Um,
So we got for 2023, we got a couple
Ty Dillon.
driver lineups set. Ty Dillon going to Spire for the 77. Corey LaJoie's returning to the 7. I think it's huge that the 77 gets a full-time driver next year.
Oh, especially someone like Ty Dillon. I know he has not put up numbers that should indicate he's a Cup driver, but if you look at where he's been with, really backmarker teams.
Ty, I was telling you earlier, my
Yeah.
bad for cutting you off. Ty's
No, you're
weird
good.
because you'll put him in a shit box and he'll run decent. You're like, all right, and then you put him in like JGR Xfinity cars and he finishes like 13th.
Ridiculous, yeah.
did you guys know? Speaking of Spire, I did not know this till watching that race for the championship. I guess Steve Letarte is one of the main guys at Spire that's helping develop that team.
Yeah, I know he works real close to Spire, but he's actually like some advisor or whatever for every Chevrolet team he works with.
I could see
Makes
him.
sense.
I could see him maybe retiring from being in the booth, maybe after next year to go help build that team.
Yeah, I
Really
know. He
low.
works with every Chevrolet team, but he works with obviously Hendrick and Spire very closely, and they're kind of
Yeah.
affiliated in a way.
I think there was a race last year where Ryan Sparks had, I don't remember if he was penalized or if he had COVID, but he missed the race. And Letarte stepped in and he was the crew chief.
Yeah, Letarte,
That's right.
Letarte
Yeah,
works
yeah.
very closely with HMS and Spire. Like I said, he works with
But,
all Chevy teams, but those two especially.
but obviously, Ty Dillon, not a superstar, but Ty Dillon's the type of guy that'll take, that car, he'll bring it home in one piece, he'll get a top 10 here and there, maybe even a top 5 at a plate track, and I think it's definitely if you want to put someone full time in that car, Ty Dillon is a solid choice for Spire
You know, it's
Motorsports.
I'm sorry, but it's fucking hilarious to me. That's exactly what you hate his brother for.
I know I don't like Austin Dillon,
That's
but
exactly the reason you hate his brother.
you just want to get me to be a Dillon fan. I know it deep down.
No, it's not even that. Like I don't like Dylan. I don't get the hate for him.
I
I was saying the other day, if you showed Austin Dillon's stats to someone without the name attached to it, you'd be like, "That's a solid 2 or 3 guy." But the second you
yeah,
put
no,
his
I
name
mean
on it,
they compared his season with Bowman and Byron's and took the names off, and I was like, holy shit! I didn't realize how good he was this year.
right
But
up until Road America, he was having almost a better year than Reddick.
I cannot get
Right up until
behind.
a few races ago, him and Reddick had the same average finish.
Just
Like
can
Yeah, because
never.
into the playoffs.
well, Dylan almost won Fontana
He
with
did.
And Martinsville.
Larson held him
Dylan
off.
had
Yeah,
a rocket ship at Martinsville. He was the only person that could pass people that race. He just
yeah.
qualified like shit.
Everybody wants to say he could have won the 600. I don't think if Kyle Larson made the move that Austin Dillon made, he would have made that stick. I mean, it was baller as hell to see Austin Dillon go 5 wide and take the lead. I
Yeah,
think anybody else would have done the same thing and kamikazed yourself and the next 3 cars
yeah,
behind you. I don't blame him for that one. That's the anybody would have made that
yeah.
mistake.
So I think it's huge, like I said, for the 77 to get a full-time driver. I think you can never really get good notes and stuff running multiple drivers a year. I think that's why the 16 has struggled so much this year. And I think it's why the 7 is, well, granted, the 7 gets a little bit more resources, but I think it's why the 77 is consistently behind the 7 too. So I think them putting a full-time driver in that car is huge. And like you said, I mean, Ty Dillon's not great, but he's a solid driver.
Hmm.
Yeah,
There's nothing
I'll
offensive
admit
about
that.
him.
I'll admit that Dylan is a solid driver. I think just the people that hype him up like he's going to be the next big thing, and it's like
The
it's
dude's
almost
like
unfair to
he's
him in
like
a way.
30 something years old. He is what he is.
Oh, it's almost unfair to him in a way to put him in the 3 car
Well, that
and hype him
was
up like he's the next big thing, and it's like
the
he's. You go ahead, man.
the 3 was actually the Childress and Dillon family number before Dale ever even got in it. That was
Yeah, no, I think he said something like that. Like it was
yeah,
only going to be for family.
yeah, so the Childress and the Dillon family were using that number way before Dale ever used it, and Austin was using it in everything even before Dale died. He was racing in it
It was his number at.
in everything.
I think he won a Little League World Series. A
Yeah.
fun stat about Austin Dillon. His number was number 3.
Yeah, that's been the family number, and that's why everyone involved is kind of okay with him using the 3 because they're like
I say I
that was his
don't have a
number.
problem with it. I think it's just the people that have that legacy built around that number. You put him in that car, and you hype him up, and it's like he's a solid driver.
The issue with
I
that is in
definitely
NASCAR, there's only so many numbers you can't really retire them. So you're gonna
absolutely
have
and,
guys going to number. I mean, look at the 43 after Richard Petty left it. It's
the
been miserable.
48.
It's
You know,
been
the 48.
yeah.
I mean, Bowman wins a couple races. I'm a really big Alex Bowman fan. I don't think he'll ever be Jimmy Johnson.
Obviously not. Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna be Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson is the only Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
But uh,
But
but yeah,
back
no,
to
Dylan I think is a solid driver, and he
Hmm.
just is what he is.
yeah. So another 23 lineup set. JRM's Xfinity team. Allgaier, Berry, and Mayer returning, and Brandon Jones is set to take over the 9 for Noah Gragson as he moves to Petty GMS in the 42 to take over for Ty Dillon. JRM cars are all going to have multiple wins next year. That's my take.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Their cars are
Yeah.
so much better than the fields, and they have a very good driver lineup. Allgaier and
geez.
Berry, you know what they are. I think Berry's actually going to take I mean, Barry's had a great year. He's in the championship four. I think he takes a huge step forward next year and just does kind of something like, not exactly, but similar to what Grax has done this year, and just win a shitload of races. All guy,
Well,
you know
that,
what
and
he
I think
is.
he'll-
He's a multi-win year.
Solid.
I
Yep.
think Mayer is. He's got to clean up some rookie mistakes, but he is insanely talented.
I've been following Mayer since the
Yeah.
GMS days.
I
He
was
is
watching. My bad, I cut you off. What was that?
Good.
I was watching. What was Michael Waltrip's fucking podcast that he had?
Oh God, I don't know.
And Spencer Gallagher was on it, and he was talking about Sam Mayer, and they said they were. I might have been Bristol. It was a short track in ARCA. They ran a race where Mayer, from the first practice session, every single practice session, he was fastest. Lap 1 on the track, he was fastest. He qualified on the pole, started the race first, led every lap and won. He was never lower than first at any point in the weekend.
Oh,
Jeez.
He is got a lot of talent. He makes a lot of just rookie mistakes. I mean, he's younger than Ty Gibbs. He just turned 18 years old.
say the fun fact about Sam Mayer, why I became a big fan of his, is he's exactly 6 months older than I am. And when I met him at Watkins Glen this year, it was kind of funny. I got a picture with him, and I sent it to my dad, and he just said, he's like, it's kind of weird to think that, like, you two are the same age.
Oh,
Like,
it's weird once athletes are younger than you.
he's like, you two, he's
Tell
like,
me about it.
looking at someone taking a picture with, at, like, your baseball games. Like, it's weird to see
When
this other 18-year-old.
when Zion Williamson got drafted to the Pelicans, was it Pelicans? No. Yes. I don't know.
It was
I don't
Pelicans,
follow
yeah.
basketball as much as I used to. I follow my team and that's it. When he got drafted and I saw that he was born in 01, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
that dude
it
can
does.
eat me.
Man, it doesn't hit you though until, let's see, I'm going to be 30 in December. Patrick Mahomes is 27, and oh yeah, $500 million contract, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that dude's
Real,
making $500 million to play a game, and we're talking about race cars in Discord right now.
it's all good. Our graves are the same size when we die, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hearing rumors that SHR is wanting to field second Xfinity car for Haley Deegan.
They should.
Yeah,
She was very impressive
I think they
Well, I
absolutely
think
should.
in her one start.
I think what's funny, guys, is here's the thing. It's already a done deal. This isn't something they're like, oh, let's see if we can get this done. No, that's why she was put in that '07 car. Is they're like, well, she's gonna be racing next year, so we
I
might as well
think
give
what
her some
they're
starts.
trying to figure out is, do they keep Herbst in the 98? Which he's been.
I think they said
I've clowned on him a lot. He's been
I
solid.
think we
this
all
year.
did.
He's been solid this
Ryan
year.
Ryan, you confirmed that Custer and Herbst were returning next year, correct?
Yeah, I believe that they said that Custer and Herbst are coming back. They want to open a second car for Deegan.
Yes.
Actually, Gene Haas said that he wants Custer back.
Yeah, Tony Stewart does
Tony
not
wants
want
Ryan
Custer
Priest
back.
in the 41 next year.
Yeah.
And they're trying
Oh,
to
that-
talk Harvick into coming back, but it's not going to happen.
And I love me some Cole Custer, but he's an Xfinity lifer.
He's in a weird spot where he's like way too good for Xfinity, but he's not.
But he's
good
not
enough,
good
he's not
enough.
good
Yeah.
enough for Cup. Like if there was something in between, he'd be perfect. But if he goes down to Xfinity full time, he would just dominate every fucking race. But he runs 25th in Cup. I saw someone throw out an idea. You can move Priest to the 41 and Custer to the 15 for Rick Ware, and try to bolster Rick
see
Ware and
that.
Stuart Haas's relationship that way.
Yeah.
Did see that.
I don't know.
yeah.
Also, I forgot. Brandon Jones in the 9. I think Brandon Jones has become a very solid driver.
Best thing is all these guys we used to clown on, man. Herbst and Brandon Jones and
It's almost like NASCAR drivers take more time to develop than like a wide receiver in the NFL does.
I know, right? It's almost like
That's
you can't judge someone
crazy.
off of one season.
Let's call someone a bust after 7 starts. That's more fun.
Oh, you guys know the only reason why people made fun of Brandon Jones was because he hooked like completely, just hooked it right into the wall at Kansas on the back
Yeah,
straightaway, and
Oh,
people
that
were
was
just like
bad.
scratching their heads. People were just scratching their heads, like, "Can this guy not drive? Like, what the heck just
yeah.
happened?"
He's turned
And
into a
just yeah,
he
he's solid.
he shows some flashes too of just like when he beat Kyle Busch straight up in the same car at Phoenix.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
so
he went up and took it from Austin Cindric at Kansas.
yeah,
yep,
I think if you put him in the JRM9, I really want Gregson to win the championship of the 9 this year, so that every driver to drive the 9 has gotten a championship in it.
that'd be four.
4 straight
That is
drivers to drive that
insane.
car to win a championship. Chase won it, Reddick won it, Byron won it. I think actually no, Byron and Reddick flipped. I think right.
Yeah,
No,
Byron was
yeah,
17,
yeah,
Reddick was
Yeah,
18.
and then Gregson. I mean, he's the favorite to win it. He's got to win
yeah.
Phoenix do it, but he won Phoenix earlier in the year. But I was saying if
Yep.
he
He won
does it,
Phoenix.
and then you put the pressure on Brandon Jones, like, all right, you're the 5th guy to drive this car. All 4 of the ones before you won a fucking championship in it.
That pressure, I mean, it was with Gregson when he got in that car because when Elliott, Byron, and Reddick did it, they were all rookies.
Yeah,
And so it was, is Gregson, not cut out for this because he didn't win the championship as a rookie? And it's like,
Gregson took time to develop, but holy shit,
Gregson
does
has
he
always
develop?
taken time to develop. It's how, those younger race car drivers work nowadays.
You know what I
Mhm.
Obviously Ty Gibbs, but
Yeah,
I
Ty
think Ty
Gibbs is
Gibbs
an
is,
anomaly. He's just
like,
insanely talented.
dude, I think he is just like, I don't want to know what his childhood was like because I guarantee you that dude can probably like run a simulator race better than anybody else ever could because he's probably been in simulators since like age 3.
Also,
So like,
you want to know what his childhood is like? He's running the 23 car in Cup right now.
yeah,
He's
that's
still
right.
a
He's only
child.
19. Yeah, but no, my dad said something once. He's like, it's scary. He's like a little racing like robot, and I'm like, yeah, he is kind of like that. Like he doesn't show a lot of emotion. He's just kind of like machine.
Also, one last thing on the JRM9. You know what I noticed about that when Gregson took over in 2019? Is his paint scheme is identical to Chase Elliott's from that year.
it was. Yep, yep,
I just noticed that because I put my Elliott and my Gregson diecast in the same case. And I'm like, oh shit, this is the same paint scheme.
yep.
Yeah, no, they just changed it
They
up.
just
Yeah,
changed the colors. I'm a fan.
and Napa changed it a little bit later, and
Yeah, Napa
Jason was
changed
like,
it
"I
in
kind of like
2021.
this, man." Yeah.
But yeah, so oh
Speaking
shit, where the fuck? What were we even talking about that we got to this point?
well, speaking of 2023, because we're talking about the driver lineups,
Yes, that's right.
are we surprised that we've not heard that Ty Gibbs is going to be in the 18,
I
and
think
that there's not been an announcement
I
yet?
think they're waiting.
Um,
It's one of those rides. There's a couple rides where they haven't made an announcement, but everyone knows what it's going to be. Like the 21 hasn't made an announcement. You know Harrison Burton is going to be back. The 18 hasn't made an
yeah.
announcement yet. 34 and 38 haven't made an announcement. You know McDowell's not going anywhere, and they'd be stupid to let Todd Gilliland go. He's been great.
I almost wonder if McDowell's ready to hang it up, though.
No,
That's what I was hearing too.
really? He's not that old.
Yeah,
Wanted
I
to
heard. I
retire.
heard recently he was talking about retirement.
Wanted to retire after 2021, but when he won the Daytona
Yeah,
500, he said, "I want to go out and do this again."
He's really not that
yeah.
old. How
Oh,
old
but
is
you
he?
think about it, he's been around. Shoot, probably
Oh, 08.
oh
Yeah.
08,
15
so
years. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so they 15 years.
But I think yes, but also he's doing better now than he ever has. I mean, he's
He
had
is
an
Agreed.
amazing year.
Hmm.
chief too.
Yeah, his crew chief's going over to Bowman. That was another thing that happened this week.
I don't know if maybe McDowell's probably thinking, I don't want to go through another.
He's had a different crew
This will be
chief
his
every year, I
fourth.
think, right?
I say
Every
this
year
will be
since
his
before.
5th crew chief in 5 years.
That's crazy. That's too much.
Yeah.
That'll make you retire. Can't get any consistency. I was doing
Especially
good with
since
this guy. Why are you taking him away?
Yeah, but yeah, no, he's having a career. He has 12 top 10s on the year. That is
especially since the
that is high up in terms of like most in the sport.
that's more than Bowman and Byron.
It's
That's
more than a
crazy.
lot of drivers.
I think a theory I have is, especially since they've confirmed Zane Smith is going to make some cup starts for them, I am willing to bet money that it's going to be the 34 car, and McDowell's either going to do part time or not return.
See, I would think that maybe they'd have the 36 and Reagan can run the 500 again.
Reagan, that does make
Maybe,
sense.
yeah.
He comes back for the 500 every. He's actually run a couple races this year, but he comes back for the
I
500.
think he ran the Atlanta plate race. I think he
He's
ran
like the
the
only driver in
second
the sport
Daytona.
that has the option to not run plate races and chooses to.
Yeah, AJ Allmendinger's over here like pissed off. He's got to run them again, and
Yeah.
Reagan's like,
Reagan's
"Nah,
like,
give me
that's
more."
all I want to do. That's all I want to do.
He pulled 2 top tens in his 4 starts this year. Damn near won the summer Daytona race.
Reagan's good.
It's like David Reagan.
Me too.
I love the guy who's got the peanut patch car.
I'll tell you what, guys. We definitely need the time's running short. I feel like for this TV deal to be made. Like
So
I don't know what their
here's
ideas are.
something that I've experienced as someone who's worked in unions before. And it's kind of similar to what's going on is collective bargaining at its best is a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
And it will never, no matter, you guys could be on, the two parties can be on the same page on everything. It's not going to go well. So I've been hearing, and it's not just NASCAR. TV is paying out the ass for live sports.
Yeah.
To try and keep TV relevant. Now, I got rid of cable last year, and I am so happy I did. But I think the deal, from what a lot of people have been saying, I read it. I think it was on J-Ski, is that they expect the next TV deal to be way bigger than the last one, which blew my fucking mind. Yeah. I mean, NBC just gave Premier League Soccer almost $3 billion.
Jeez.
And NASCAR is bigger in the U.S. than Premier League is, I think. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like if you have a title sponsor, it gives them kind of that leverage because they have a huge company that's throwing money at them and at the teams to be able to not just sponsor, but just like sell NASCAR as a product to people. And Coke, like 4 little sponsors, like co-sponsors or whatever, they're not going to do that because they're not really having to put a lot into it. So I think that's why things are so up right now is them trying to be their own title sponsor.
I think too is one out of those 4 sponsors, Busch is doing most of the heavy lifting too.
Yep.
They sponsor like
100%.
They sponsor like every female driver that is old enough to drink. I know they sponsor. They throw money at Harvick. They have a new paint scheme every fucking week. They sponsor race. I mean, Busch is doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah, that breaks the wallet as a Harvick fan.
Don't worry, I'm a fucking Elliott fan. I've got like 11 versions of his base Napa scheme on pre-order.
Chase Elliott's race to use shopping cart coming to a store near yours soon, man.
Oh boy, I got
a theory here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harvick retires after 2023, right?
All
right. You're gonna take JRM's going to enter into the sport and the cup, and they're going to take back Busch, and it's going to be Budweiser, back with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and whoever's driving whatever that car that is.
I mean,
that's an interesting idea.
I would like that. As someone who drinks a shitload of Busch, I wouldn't like it, but Budweiser sponsoring a junior car would be great. I know Motorsports has said that they want to do part-time starts next year.
Yep.
And then go full-time in 24. Speaking of JRM, when are we going to start talking about the fact that Kelly needs to be in the Hall of Fame?
Right.
Kelly Earnhardt needs to be in the Hall of Fame at some point.
She knows what she's doing.
She has built. I mean, she runs JRM.
I don't think people understand.
Junior's a face for JRM. He makes a couple.
But I don't think.
Yeah, but
I don't think people understand. Like, It took a long time for JRM to get like the only thing they were consistent at was plate tracks. And I think Ron Fellows won the first non-plate track for JRM
It
back in
wasn't really until
2008.
Elliott came in,
It wasn't. You're right.
and they were
Elliott
around.
came in and
They
they
were
became a
around way
thing.
before that.
Yeah, but they couldn't get any consistency from any of
That
the
was when
drivers. And I think Josh Berry started for him in either 2013 or 2015.
Yeah, he did.
A couple of one-offs, and he just they just didn't have they were not
Regan,
competitive at all.
I think I saw something that Regan Smith was the first full-time junior motorsports car to win more than one race at a non-plate track
Yeah.
in
Yeah, because he won at Dover at one point. I think in 20
Dover and
Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah.
God, I
Yep.
hate that. Like I know shit like that. Hey, Regan Smith won at Mid-Ohio a couple years ago.
The only reason I know that
You know
is
what's bad too is like I wouldn't have minded that if it was any other track, but it's fucking Mid-Ohio.
You want to know? You guys want to know something extremely crazy? And I tested this with one of my friends. It's just my memory, man. But I can name every Cup winner from 2002 to this day. You can give me a race, I'll be like that guy.
Jesus.
And like
fuck.
dude, it's my my friend jokes with me. He's like, "That's border autism, dude. That's borderline."
Oh my
When I
god.
was like real young and we used to get Chinese food, my mother would open the fortune cookie and they had like the lucky numbers on the back. And I'd be like 3 years old and she'd be like, "Who drives the 97 car?" And I'm like, "Kurt Busch."
Oh, dude, it's bad. It's bad though. He's tried to stump me several times, and my sister thinks it's the funniest thing. She actually has autism, so when she heard that comparison, she was like, "I don't know, maybe you are."
The other thing's like I know a lot about NASCAR, but even then I'm like I don't think I'd be able to like prove you wrong
Oh,
or
dude,
right. Like I'd have to go look
dude,
it up.
it's dude, it's so stupid because it's the most. I don't want to say it's the most pointless gift in the world, but why? Why does my brain have to be able to do that, dude? Like, it's so stupid.
Why couldn't I be out like inventing something? No, I know every driver to win a NASCAR race.
I'll tell you what, the NASCAR 101
Oh,
10's about to be
God.
giving those lanyards away to you. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Oh man, it's so weird. But
Back
anyway,
to the
yeah,
original point. JRM. Jesus
Oh,
Christ. Yeah, JRM and Chance 2 was good, and then they shut down. And then JRM, yeah, they didn't really do a whole lot their first couple years.
no, they become a super man. I'm just so impressed with just this year. Like Noah
This year
Gregson, just
alone, they've been
holy
insane.
cow, dude.
They've
I
won
thought Ty
what?
Gibbs was going to dominate, and
Yeah,
then
me
he just
too.
fell off a cliff.
They've won.
Noah
JRM's
Gregson
won
was
like 33 stages this year.
Gregson's won a
that's
shit ton of
crazy.
them.
Gregson has 7 wins. Boys Berry have 3.
He's got 3.
Allgaier's like what?
Allgaier's got
2?
3.
2 or 3, yeah.
I feel like
And I don't think
Gregson's
Gregson's done winning.
confidence.
He is best.
No, I don't think he is either.
He's
Dude,
got
his
Homestead,
confidence
Martinsville, and Phoenix.
and
He
Phoenix.
won Phoenix
Yep.
this year. He won Martinsville last year, and he
He
realistically
almost
should have
won Homestead.
like 4 times in a row.
Yeah, Jesus. He's got the short
know
end of
what?
the stick at Miami.
You know what though? I feel like Gregson's momentum and his confidence. He really gained confidence after Pocono holding off Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
I think that he's like I just held off the best driver in the sport at the time because Ty Gibbs was just winning everything and was so consistent or leading laps. And he held him off, and I think he was like, "Oh my goodness, I can do this."
And he has not looked back since.
No, he is
No,
not.
he has
He has
not.
been insane. 4 straight wins.
I just wonder how many
He's almost won
straight-
like 2 since then, too. He almost won Vegas. He was running very down.
Yep.
He had a real good shot to do it at Dega, and then Austin Hill kamikazed himself and took him with him.
Had a good shot to win at the Roval too.
He
Yeah,
did.
he was running well there too. He's just been,
Also, speaking of Noah, well, I was going to say, speaking of Noah Gregson, he was the highest finishing Hendrick car at Las Vegas in the Cup.
You had speed
Hendrick
all
had-
weekend.
I mean, obviously Larson got dumped, but like Elliott and Byron were non-existent at Vegas.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking Gregson. I thought they moved him to the 48. He was supposed to be driving the 16 at Martinsville, and they moved Allmendinger. But I would have loved if Gragson stayed in the 16 and they put Berry in the 48.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
Berry is so good at Martinsville.
Oh, dude, that would have been insane.
That car would have had a chance to win.
It still might. Gregson's good
Yeah,
at
Gregson's
Martinsville. You
good at
never know.
Martinsville too.
16 might still have a chance to win too. Dinger is like a seriously underrated driver at Martinsville. I
Hey!
didn't realize he's got 2 runner-ups there in the Cup
Yeah.
Series.
But you know what? Whoever gets off pit road, and it's the winner anyway. So
Yeah.
it's one of those guys. Man.
Also,
Allen take no tires.
oh, another thing that happened this week. Did we bring up Kurt Busch retiring yet? I don't think we
We
did.
have
I
not.
don't think so.
No, we haven't. We've been all
We
over
have
the
a
place.
couple times.
It's been a weird day
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
man.
We've been
Got
all
a lot
over the
to
place
talk about.
today. Kurt Busch is retiring from full-time driving. He did say he would like to come back, do a couple starts here and there. I know he
One-offs,
said he
yeah.
wants to run the Chicago Street Race, and
Yes.
I'm willing to bet the house on the fact that he's going to try and get into the All-Star race next year.
Mhm.
He was saying that he'd like to run a couple races that he hasn't won yet, like a Darlington or a
Yeah.
Watkins Glen. He said Watkins Glen has slipped away a couple times, and he wants to get himself one there.
Yeah, he did say
That's hard to do for a one-off, man.
he did say there's
Yes.
a lot of races he still wants to run, and he's not done racing. So I would assume we may see him in a 2311 car next year, unchartered.
Well, he could go do Trackhouse Project 90. Well, I guess that's more for like
Yeah,
European
and I
or like
think
other drivers from other series.
Although I don't know because Jimmy Johnson said that, and Justin Marks said
Yeah.
that he wouldn't.
He said that
So-
if
That's
Jimmy
right.
made a start, it would not be a Project 91 start though. It would just be a
Oh.
Trackhouse car. And Kurt's still going to be heavily involved with Toyota. TRD's keeping him on. And 2311's
Smart
keeping
move.
him on. It's a very smart move. But yeah, so and then 2311 bought out, or Reddick got bought out of his contract at RCR, so he will move to the 45 next year. So there still is a possibility though that RCR goes and gets another charter and has 3 cars. They did say that's still on the table. I would assume for Austin Hill.
I'd say
Although
probably Hill.
I don't know if Hill or Creed are ready yet. They've been good this year, but
I'd say I think a couple more years before.
Austin Hill is 1 year removed from being an okay Truck Series driver.
That is true.
And Creed takes time to develop to every car he's ever been in, kind of like Gragson. So, yeah. So
Nice guy.
Kurt is retiring. Like I said, he's also said he reached out. My chair is so fucking loud. Oh my god. He did say he reached out to Fox Sports about getting in the booth a little bit.
Yeah, he did pretty good at the trucks and Xfinity.
He's done very
A
good.
couple times he's done
Yeah,
that.
he's,
Yeah.
he's a really
some-
good announcer.
I saw on the Reddit thread for this some fucking comments. Oh my god. I saw someone say that thanks to NASCAR, Kurt will never live a normal life again.
Jesus Christ.
I
Yeah.
saw people saying that we never had injury concerns with the old gens. Why is next gen so bad? A lot of people were
Yeah.
like, oh god, I saw someone say that Chase Elliott ended Kurt's career. Because Kurt
What?
said he was feeling a little woozy after the wreck at the end of the Atlanta race. And someone's like, oh, another reason to hate Chase Elliott, he ended Kurt Busch's career
What did Chase Elliott do?
when he threw the block on LaJoy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
And then Kurt,
yeah.
LaJoy spun out. Kurt got into LaJoy, and Kurt, he was like, I didn't feel a concussion. He's like, but I felt a little, he goes, I was feeling that hit for a bit.
I think that's normal for these, these cars. I mean, Bubba said it, Haley said it, Busher
Yeah,
said
it
that
is.
those hits at the end of like Atlanta and Talladega hit a lot more than they used to. So I don't think that
I mean,
was.
Kurt himself even said, he's like, I've wrecked a lot of shit over the years. He goes, and those hits
Kurt
just
remembers
add
when
up.
he used to hit concrete walls, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
when Kurt started, there was no safer barrier.
No.
You went
He was the
head
first
on.
one to hit the safer barrier at Indianapolis, though, thanks to Jimmy Spencer, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah. I love it. Kurt bumped into Jimmy Spencer going like 80 miles an hour in a turn at Bristol, and then Jimmy Spencer comes and dumps Kurt going like 200 miles an hour.
To
God.
make this a little lighthearted, what are your guys' favorite Kurt Busch moments in sport?
There's a lot. I like when he told Bob Pock, was it Bob Pockrush? It refrains me from
Yeah, it
beating
was
the
Bob
shit out of
Pockrush.
you.
Refrains me from beating the shit out of you.
That was hilarious. I'm
You're
sure
just
it's
here
not.
asking stupid questions.
I'm sure it's not one of Kurt's favorites, but that I loved Kurt Busch back in the fucking day. When he was, I love watching the videos of him screaming on the radio.
Oh man,
Fuck! I hate my
is it
fucking
run the
job.
go yet?
Yeah,
Shit,
that was
no
great.
wonder Nick Harrison had a drug problem.
Yeah, I'd love to hit the
Who
fence
cares
head on
about
and
these
get knocked.
tires?
I'd love to hit the
I
fence
think
head on and get
who
knocked
cares?
the fuck out.
Who cares about these tires? Fuck these.
Kurt was funny
Nice points.
when his girlfriend was an assassin. That was another good one.
Oh,
No, but realistically, I don't. Him versus Kyle Busch at Kentucky was a great.
oh man,
That was awesome. And you know what my favorite part about that finish was? NBC cranked the fucking crowd volume up.
Yes.
I mean, you could. I've gone back and watched that a couple times, and you can barely hear Junior talking and like Rick Allen talking. It's so loud, and I love it. But his win
I
in
have.
Kansas this year, as someone who used to be very
Oh, that
big,
was good.
as someone who used to be very big into collecting sneakers, it was cool to see the Jordan car go to Victory Lane. Get the die cast of
Same.
that.
I pre-ordered the crap out of that thing when the
Oh
Elite
yeah.
came out. I was like, yep, that's it. That's mine.
Yeah, I
Um,
ended up getting an ARC.
I got the Elite of that. You know what? I almost got the Arc because I learned my lesson last year when I got one of the fucking Harvick Gravedigger Elites in when it was limited to like 100. And then they're like, never mind, we opened
Yeah.
it back up. And I'm like, fuck!
I got really lucky, got it the first time, and I thought I
Yeah,
was
that's
gonna
what
have
I'm
a
saying. I
harder
got it.
grail, and
That's
then,
what
yeah.
I got it. I got an Elite and an Arc before they opened it back up. Yeah, and then they
I just
opened it
got
back
the
up,
Arc.
and they made like 8,000 of them after that.
I have. See, I have two Kurt Busch moments. One, I was just really impressed. This is 2002, and he had held off Johnny Benson at Martinsville, and I was just like, this guy runs like crap here. All like, I only had a couple starts, but I was like, how did he? Like, he made the car work on the top and held off Johnny Benson. I was just really impressed with his driving ability. And then about 12 years later, 2014, he and Brad put on a great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh shit. What about him and Jimmy getting into it? That was another good one. I think my Discord
For all the
died.
crap he went through. So
My
it was
my
really cool to
Discord
see.
just died for a second, so I didn't hear a word you said.
No, what part did it die on?
2014, him and Brad.
Oh, Martinsville. That's my second
Yes.
favorite memory of Kurt because
I knew that's
Brad
what you were
gets out
talking
there
about,
with,
but
and it's just so cool because Kurt, he got fired from Penske, went over to whatever the 51. I forget who owned that
Phoenix Racing.
team. Yes,
it's Finch,
that
baby.
was a horrible, horrible time. It sounded like for him, he was screaming on the
Oh,
radio
when they
almost
sent
every
him to the
race.
back at Darlington that one time.
Oh my
Oh.
god!
That was hilarious. Anyone over to Furniture Row?
Really
Okay.
started to put them on a upturn.
Yeah,
Man, where'd you go?
The,
but
Stuart
it
Haas
just
won the 500 there.
yep.
Went over
Yeah,
to Chip
those.
Ganassi. Got it. Win at Vegas.
I
Yep.
would say my
Kentucky
favorite
win.
Kurt moments would probably be home win at Vegas. I thought that was just
That was a great moment.
he's
Yep.
sitting there, sitting on top of the car, soaking it in, and then he took the checkered flag and touched every letter in Las Vegas, and you could tell that one just meant so much
A lot
more to
more.
him.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, a moment that I really liked, I met him at Watkins Glen in 2018. I didn't have anything for him to sign except this little Ford trucker hat, and they were giving out free Monster Energies. I got him to sign my trucker hat, and he goes, "Oh, let me wipe that down for you." So he takes the Monster Energy because it's still, kind of wet from the um, little tub they had it sitting in, and he takes his shirt, wipes it off, blows it down a little bit, dries it off, and like sits there for like 30 seconds, making sure it's dry, and then he signs the Monster can for me.
Oh,
And I just
that's
thought that
cool.
was such a cool moment
That's cool.
that
That's so cool.
he was like he wanted to make sure that his autograph would stay on it. I always that stuck with me more than a lot of other appearances.
Kurt's one of those guys who are like post 2014. I haven't heard much bad about him. Nothing bad about him after
Mhm.
after the Phoenix Racing days.
Ugh.
Oh man, dude.
Like pre-Phoenix Racing and like post-Phoenix Racing, or that he's had one of the wildest careers in NASCAR though. I mean, he's been through it all.
Absolutely.
He's been to the highest
Kurt,
of highs, lowest of lows.
he's the greatest example of don't take your racing career for granted.
Yeah.
A lot of these young guys, look at how far Kurt Busch came from where he
Yeah, he
so
damn
many
near
turns in his career.
lost it all and then got it back.
Yep.
He's gonna be. Hopefully, we'll see him back at the track a bit because it's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we
So
will. So
it's eerie to me. I got to shake his hand at Pocono that day, and he was like on his way to a McDonald's appearance, and he had walked by a couple fans and we all got to shake his hand. Then I was in the stands, so I literally saw Kurt's last laps as a full time driver,
that's
and
Jeez.
two Pocono races I've gone to are the 2018 IndyCar race where Robert Wickens nearly died, and this Pocono race where I only went down for Saturday and saw Kurt's last lap.
you
So
should
I don't.
stop going to
So I
Pocono.
say I don't think I should go to Pocono anymore
That's like me, where I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna keep contemplating going to races and not fucking going to them.
because Elliott wins all of them.
Yeah, I contemplated going to Nashville. I contemplated going to Dover, and I contemplated going to Pocono, and I didn't go to any of them.
Pocono was
Yeah, that would have been different.
Weird.
That would have been different. I would have found out that Elliott won on the way home, but yeah. So, Kurt,
yeah,
you will be missed in your full-time
yes.
driving days.
You will. I do want to get your guys' opinion on something. The damaged vehicle policy.
Oh yeah.
Know that I brought it up kind of out of the blue the other day, but I do not like the damaged vehicle policy. I get the intent behind it, but the way it's executed, I've seen
Mhm.
cars that can continue, done for the day,
That
and I've
shouldn't.
seen cars like yeah, seen cars that shouldn't. I think two examples that come to mind are Jamie McMurray at the 2017 Firecracker 400. You couldn't put sheet metal on the car, so they taped the fender up completely. Didn't do a great job of it, and he was out there trying to make minimum speed. It was flapping so badly. I just remember saying like, "That's supposed to be the safer version of this." Or Alex Bowman in 2018 at Indianapolis, when he went out to try to make minimum speed with a broken track bar and was just smoking and crab walking all the way down the backstretch, and the pack was going by him, and it was like, I don't know if this is really safer, so to speak, which was the goal to get those cars off the track. It's like, well, now you got cars that are not even really halfway repaired at all, going out there trying to make
Yeah.
minimum speed, and then you got cars that can continue that are done for the day.
Yeah.
Well, there's another good example of why we would like a point system back, if like a chase or whatever, because put it back to where the guys can go back and at least salvage their day and get some points. I mean, that's the only reason why
Mm-hmm.
they took it away is because they were like, well, it's all about stage racing now, so it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
I hate it because it's just like so many things. Like I remember back in the day, you could replace the whole nose on the car and get back out
Yeah.
there, and at least because you had a whole
Yeah.
nose, you could at least know that it was secure. Yeah, because having a piece of sheet metal on the car flapping in the wind, that thing's going to fly off and potentially hit or injure a fan. It's not worth it.
Yeah. I think
And
I'm glad they upped it to
yeah,
10
10
minutes now,
minutes.
but it's still not long enough.
but I don't like that you can't go back to the garage.
If you make minimum speed, you can go back to the garage.
That is true, but still, it's like, how is that
Yeah,
safer?
you
You have a
can't
car that's
go to the garage. If you make the repairs on pit lane and make minimum speed, you can go back to the garage. That's why Chastain was able to go to the garage at the Roval and then come back out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think it's fucking stupid.
That's my thing. It just seems pointless.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not
Seems like it does
ideal.
more damage than it does good.
Yeah.
Bell was an example to me because I was watching him
So,
and I was thinking maybe he could get back out there and get a point or two, and obviously nobody else ended up DNFing. I don't think so. It wouldn't have mattered, but it's like I don't know. It's definitely Christopher Bell. I think could have at least gotten back out there had he had some time. Excuse me, make repairs in the garage.
Yeah.
Ryan, that quote that you just said right there that does more damage than good, that could be NASCAR in a nutshell.
Yes, it could, Sean. Yes, it could.
It's like, what are y'all doing? Come on. It is, man.
I'm trying to think. Do we have any other
That's what I say,
2023 news?
Anything else, you
Blake?
guys?
Blake Harris to Alex Bowman.
Yeah.
That was announced after the last episode. Curious to see how that'll work out. I'm glad Bowman is planning on returning to Phoenix, so hopefully he can get his last ride with Greg Ives. I
Only thing
don't agree.
I think the only
Yeah,
thing
you
we
guys
didn't
go.
touch on was Reddick moving to 23-11 next year.
Mentioned it,
Mhm.
didn't really get into it. What are you guys' expectations for him?
Oh, he's going to do great. My expectations is championship or nothing. He's there. I mean, he's obviously there, and in
Yeah.
that kind of a car, he's gonna win. At least three. Well, let's see. No, he's already got 3 wins this season. I'd say 5. He could easily win 4 to 5 wins
He
next
could.
year.
I think the one issue is a lot of his wins, 2 out of his 3 wins and a lot of his good runs have come on the road courses. And
Sure.
Toyota is awful. I mean,
Well,
Martin
and
Truex, I'd
another.
say Martin Truex is a better road course racer because he has more, history to
Yeah.
back it up. And I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Martin
he
Truex.
struggles to run top 20
He
on
at
the
the
road
Glen was a
courses.
non-factor.
I mean, yeah, Bell won the Roval because he had fresh tires, no one ahead of
4
him did.
tires.
But I mean, Toyota is horrendous on the road courses.
Yeah, and the other thing about Reddick is look at 2 of his 3 wins, and this is what I thought you were going to say. You said 2 of his 3 wins, but 2 of his 3 wins have come. I want to say at the expense of Chase Elliott because Elliott was one of the guys that was affected, but 2 of his 3 wins have come because a lot of the top contenders have racked out. I'm not saying that he wasn't a top contender before, but maybe it would have been different at Texas had Elliott
Yeah.
not wrecked out and Harvick not wrecked out
The
and
entire
Truex
field.
not
The
wrecked out.
entire field.
And Indy, I
Just head out the
mean,
field. Yeah, we touched on Indy last week.
I don't really think we need to go into more detail there.
We even touched on Road
Yeah.
America. Elliott had steering issues with a 40-second lead.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
So,
I think that 45 has been very consistent, and I think if you put Reddick in there,
that's what I want to see
I
out of Reddick more.
Yeah.
Is consistency.
I say is I don't like the way that he left RCR just because Richard's such an old school guy that it's almost like straight up betrayal to him the way that he did it. I think it's a very solid career move for Reddick, and I think it's a very smart move for 2311. I agree with Sean. I think it's going to be a seriously championship contending season. Or
I just want to see him get out of the round of 16.
yeah,
yeah.
it's like
Because
McMurray a few years ago, man.
I saw people
Larson
say
Rapids.
that I was seeing people on Reddit, where everyone is just as bad as Facebook and Twitter fans, but they think they're not, and they think they're smarter than you, and they think they're right about everything. That place
you're
is
telling
so
me
bad.
NASCAR fans aren't good?
Oh my god, that place is so bad. They're always like, "Well, at least we're not Facebook and Twitter." I'm like, it might be worse because you say shit like that, but
You think you're better, but you're not.
and people are saying that Reddick was like a top 5 driver in the sport. I'm like, all right, pump the brakes a little bit. Like, yes, Reddick
Not
is
quite there
insanely
yet.
talented, and he's going to a good team. But Reddick also has never made it out of the round 16, and he'll show up looking like the car to beat one week, and the next week he will run 15th.
Shit, man, the NASCAR app's telling me Chase Briscoe's a top 5 driver this year. So,
Hey, technically under the system.
dude, I'm telling you right now, he's gonna the rains are gonna come at Miami, and
Oh
he's gonna
God,
get into
don't
the Final Four.
fucking say that. And it's gonna knock Elliott out too.
Oh, the best part about
I've
it
been
is
saying for months Elliott's not gonna win the championship. So this is
it's gonna
I'm
be
putting that out now before it happens.
you're reverse jinxing yourself here.
No, I'm not. It's not. It doesn't. That doesn't work for me.
Oh God. But I'm telling you, man,
Logano's winning the championship.
it's gonna be Briscoe, Logano, Byron, and Hamlin. They're all gonna wreck at Phoenix, and Hamlin, Byron, Logano are not gonna finish the race. Briscoe's gonna limp home 7 laps down in 33rd and become your champion. I'm calling it now.
I would love for Blaney to win without winning a race. What do you guys here? We'll do one more thing before we stop because we're over an hour and a half now. One more thing. Who do you guys think makes it out of the round of 8?
Well, we know Logano, obviously.
Yeah, obviously Logano can be penciled in. Who are
Um,
your other 3 guys?
I got Hamlin just because he is so good at Miami and so good at Martinsville that it's hard for me to not see, especially with how big of a lead he's got over the cut line with 17.
Hey,
It's hard
that
to
could
see him.
disappear in 2
It could
stages.
disappear
That's not
with the
scoring
positive.
stage points and one of the guys winning a stage and finishing like 4th. Your lead's gone. I mean,
I'm saying
Elliott
with
saw
a
a 46
positive.
point lead disappear at Vegas, and he didn't even wreck or anything. He just ran like shit. Nobody.
With
Well,
the
you scored no
positive
stage
already
points.
over the cut line and how good he is at these tracks, I
Yeah.
don't see him missing the Final Four. I don't know if I could put Chastain in there yet, just because Martinsville was meh for him, and I don't know how he's going to run at Miami. So I think we see Blaney in the Final Four. He's really good at Miami and Martinsville, and it's hard for me to not put Elliott in the Final Four. So I'm thinking it's going to be
Yeah,
Elliott, Blaney, and Hamlin
Elliott's
in those
cracked at
final 3
Martinsville.
spots.
He's so good there.
He and Blaney are both very good at Martinsville, but they're very underrated at Miami. They are both seriously good drivers
Yeah,
at
Elliott
Homestead.
almost won Miami in
It's
Couple different
20.
times.
When Logano blocked the shit out of him. Yeah,
Blaney was right
that
in
was
the
after
mix
they
for that one.
that
Blaney
was
and
after they
Hamlin.
dumped each other or not. Elliott got loose and wrecked Logano at Bristol, and the next week, Elliott got blocked by Logano at Homestead. Next week, or 2 weeks later, I think.
It's funny because the 2 guys that were battling Elliott for the win were Hamlin and Blaney. So I
Yeah.
think Hamlin, Blaney, and Elliott are my other
You know
3.
who else is very good at Miami though? William Byron,
Yes.
Mhm.
very good at Miami.
Chase Briscoe is no joke at Miami. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm just saying.
I think
But a lot of those guys that open wheel that ride the wall, the
yeah,
dirt, yeah.
it's sprint car guys are great at tracks like Miami. Um,
Uh,
I don't know. I think I'm gonna put Elliott in, but honestly, if he misses, I just wouldn't be surprised. Like
I got.
that's
You're
my
Kevin
luck.
Harvick.
That's the luck.
I would say Elliott, Byron, and Blaney.
I would love that.
I think that's it because I think the other guys have just been too like Chastain has been inconsistent. Hamlin's
Chastain's
been
been
very inconsistent.
outside of Vegas. Chastain's been non-existent since the playoffs started too.
I feel like Chastain blew his chance to make the Final Four when he
I think
gave the
I
win to
think
Logano.
so too.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
He's above the cut line right now, though, isn't he? Or is he below?
He's pretty far above it, but
Yeah, he's in second behind Logano because he got all those stage points.
Yeah.
at
he's
Vegas.
only 18 up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, nobody's safe points wise.
no.
Yeah, I think, and the thing is too
Also, Hamlin's only 6 above the
is
cut line. Elliott 17.
yeah,
Oh, my
that's
apologies.
why,
Okay, my
Yeah.
bad.
Hamlin's only 6 above.
that's why I don't think Hamlin's gonna make it in there. And if he does, he better win the damn thing because he's not gonna win one unless he does.
Yeah,
So-
this has got to be his year,
I think.
or else he's not winning one.
I would love Byron and Blaney, but I don't see 2 guys above the cut line dropping out. I could see 1 dropping out, unless one of them wins a race. I would love that. I think. I don't fucking know. I was gonna say Bell, but now he's 23 back.
Well, who is it right now?
Yeah, but he can just go out like the Roval, man.
Right now it's Byron is 6 out, Briscoe is 9 out, Blaney is 11 out, and Bell is 23 out. Hamlin is 6 to the good, Elliott's 17, Chastain 18.
Man, but Homestead of Martinsville, that could be a shit show.
Yeah.
I'm
So
glad you're
We
telling
just
me
we
it's
don't know.
you know what? I'm gonna put what I want to happen and not what I think is gonna happen out there, and I'm gonna agree with you and say Byron, Blaney, Elliott.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I
Sean. Are
just
you telling me a race in 2022 could be a shit show? Unbelievable.
Oh
Boy,
man,
oh
stop the
boy.
presses. Oh man.
All right, well I think that's gonna be it because we're up to an hour 40 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked a, well,
You know what's
we
funny
talked a
too is
lot. We had a lot to talk about.
we're gonna end and we're gonna be like, damn, there's a lot of shit we didn't talk about.
Yes, that's
Like,
how it goes,
I'm thinking
man.
of like 2 or 3 things we talked about right before I hit record that we didn't, but it's all right. Those are things we can talk about next week. Just in case it's probably not, but maybe a slow week.
Hopefully.
All right. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, guys.
So I'm working on getting
Yes.
them uploaded to iTunes, but they're being uploaded to YouTube right now. 1 and 2. I don't know. I haven't figured out a time to make this like debut every week, but we'll get there eventually. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you all have a good rest of your day and tune in next week, episode 4. We're gonna review Homestead and whatever mess happens during the week because it's not gonna. I can guarantee you, it's NASCAR. Nothing's gonna be pretty about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good one.